The Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG is one of the most expensive card games to play, but with websites like Nikijo Collectibles, Cherry Collectibles, and Australian Yu-Gi-Oh! Auctions, most of the cards you need are only one mouse click away. But what would happen if these sites just disappeared and we were left to source our cards only from sealed product? Rather than relying on these sites, we'd be relying on nothing more than the luck to pull the cards we need to complete our already bullshit expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. Over the coming weeks and months, starting with nothing more than 3 structure decks and a budget of $60 a week, I am going to build a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck with the goal of reaching the Oceanic World Championship qualifying event. Stick around to see me waste hundreds of dollars, open a ton of sealed product, and hopefully kick a few butts along the way. This is Sealed Only Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shaddoll Showdown. We are 10 weeks down, and after last week's opening, we were able to make some decent changes to the deck. We've got another $60 budget this week to try and make that deck even better, and I still have hope that we're able to pull that Verte Anaconda once and for all. Once we pull that card, it'll be the last time we need to look at Duel Overload, so we're just going to keep going until we get there. So here's our $45 Duel Overload, along with another 3 packs of Clash of Rebellion. In the Clash of Rebellion packs, we're still chasing that one rare XYZ monster performance Trapaeze Magician. If we can get that card, that'll be the end of the Clash of Rebellion. Maybe we can pull a secret rare, maybe we can pull an ultimate rare, or maybe we can even get lucky enough to pull a ghost rare as well. They won't be that useful for the deck, but boy oh boy, they're gonna look good when we pull them out of that booster pack. So I'm not gonna waste any time because we've been opening these same things for the last few weeks. I'm gonna crack straight into it to try and save us a little bit of mucking around. We've got 6 packs in here. Let's flip them out on the table. So we have our 3 packs of Clash of Rebellion. We have our 6 packs of Duel Overload. And we are going to crack in. Remember, we have $3 left over from this week's budget. We've had $3 left over from the last few weeks after our Duel Overload Clash Rebellion combos have come to $57 a pop. That means we've got some really good wiggle room when it comes to that episode 15 opening. I'm hoping we can make that something special. It's all going to depend though if we can pull that Anaconda between now and then, because I'm not stopping with the Duel Overload until that Anaconda is finally going to be ours. We're going to start with a pack of Clash of Rebellion. Remember, the more likes we get on this video, the higher the chances are that we're going to pull that Anaconda, okay? The definite like to luck ratio is getting better and better every single week, as you saw in last week's video with those extra clowns that we pulled. So let's have a quick look. We've got some Ferret Flames, a Salute Tiger, some Ignites, 2 in a row, a Raid Raptor Singing Lanius, a Bubble Barrier, Wavering Eyes, a Crystal Rose, and a Performance Damage Juggler. If we decided to play 3 Damage Jugglers, this would be our 3rd, so that's actually not a bad start. It's good to have that utility there in the deck that we can actually go with. I'm going to put that right there. I'm not going to start with the Halifabrax. I'm just going to start with, we have the 5-headed dragon guy. Alright, let's get into it. It's a bit tougher to open up. Maybe that's a good sign for us. Look, I'm just looking for any kind of good sign that I can find. So we've got Card of Fate, Psyframe Lord Omega, Cubic Causality, Magical Musketeer Casper. Is it blue? It's blue. It's a link to, and it is Lib. Okay, Lib, we pulled one of those in the last couple of weeks, but it's not too bad. It's a little bit of value, but it's not that usable in the deck. We're going to go for our, is this the Sky Striker? Zeke? Or, yeah, maybe. Crack it open. We've got a Digusto Emerald, Malefic Selector, Card of Fate again, Psyframe Lord Omega again. Is it blue? It's not blue, it's a trap card. Oh, it's an Infinite Impermanence. I have not seen one of these yet. This is the first one we've looked at. This is going to come in handy Maybe we can run it in the deck if there's space. Oh, that is so good to see. Really can't wait to actually get that one in there. Maybe we can have an Anaconda and an Impermanence all in the same box. I wonder how that would go and what our chances would be. So our next pack of Clash of Rebellions. 3 to the front, we have a Blowtorch, Fuzzy Lanius, Melodious Diva, Black Metal Dragon, Wavering Eyes, Singing Lanius, Secret Blast. Our rare card is DDD Oracle Tomb Dark, and another Performance Damage Juggler. Let's open up our Flame Swordsman pack right now. We have a Terraforming. It's always a good card to see, especially when it comes in anything but a common. Firebrand Hymnist, Synchro Transcend, Raid Raptor Y-Strix. Is it blue? Yes. It's a Link 2. It is another Lib. 3 in the same packet. Jeez. Oh, the Link 2s are trolling today. Boy, oh boy, what are we going to do next? Let's go with our Cyber Dragon Infinity. You have no idea how exciting opening these packs is. It's really, really crazy just waiting on that one card. We have a Synchro Transcend, another Y-Strix, another Emerald, another Malefic Selector. It's green. It is a Fusion Link Monster Starving Venom Lethal Dose Dragon. Alright. So we've got 1 pack of Clash of Rebellion left and 2 packs of Duel Overload. Let's see what it has in store for us. We'll go 3 to the front. Maybe that one there is a holo. We haven't seen any holos in our Clash of Rebellions yet. So we have a Melodious Diva, another Hat Tricker, okay. Deskbot 005, Secret Blast, Ignite Margrave, Extinction Schedule, Opera the Melodious Diva, Cosmo Slip Rider. Let's have a look. It is a Raid Raptor Fuzzy Lanius. So no holos in our Clash of Rebellion, but we did pull another 2 clowns and if need be another Performance Hat Tricker. We're just going to sit those there. We'll put them up here so we know where they are for future reference. And let's crack into our last 2 packs of Duel Overload. I am getting excited. We've got our Relinquished Anima and our Crystron Halka-Fibrax pack to go. I hope you're excited, guys. I am pumped. I've got a good feeling about these last 2 packs. We have a Magical Musketeer Starfire, Psyframe Lord Omega, another Terraforming, Firebrand Hymnist. Let's have a look. It's blue. It's a Link 5. It is a 5-headed Link Dragon. We have 1 pack to go. Is this the lucky pack? I'm going to give it a kiss. This has got it in it. Here we go. Alright. Speedroid Hexasaucer. Digusto Emerald. I'm going to go slow, guys. We have another Magical Musketeer Starfire. Geez, that's like our 15th Psyframe Lord Omega. We've got 1 card left. It's green. It's an Awakening of the Possessed, and it is not. It is not Predaplant Verte Anaconda. I guess we got the Impermanence out of this pack, so I am really, really stoked that we were able to pull something. Impermanence is a really good card that we will be able to use in the deck. That's the opening for this week. We are 11 weeks down. We have some good changes to make to the deck. I'm going to put it together. I'll come back with a short profile, and then we're going to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll see you soon.
2 hours later.
Alright, we are back and this is week 11. We do have some minor changes once again, and as you would have seen in the opening, we managed to nab ourselves a copy of Infinite Impermanence, and I would be an idiot not to change up the main deck and put that in. I've also made a couple of extra changes to add a couple of cards in, take a couple of cards out, so we'll quickly once again go through the profile. Like I said in last week's profile, I did want to cut a copy of Shaddoll Squamata. This week was the week to do that, so we are now down to 2 copies. We are still running the double Reeshaddoll Wendi, as well as the double Shaddoll Hedgehog and the double Ariel. We are running a single copy of Beast and a single copy of Dragon. That of course rounds out our Shaddoll engine. I believe we are now down to 10 Shaddoll monsters, which could still be too many, but we'll see how that plays out in the coming weeks. We're still running our single copy of Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, and we've added a copy of Armageddon Knight back into the main deck. Blackwing Zephyros the Elite did still make the cut for this week, but is definitely at the top of the list to be moved on. We have a Mathematician for one of our normal summons, and of course our Wizard Buster Destruction Sword for use off of our Union Carrier plays. We have got our double copies of a Damage Juggler, however we have trimmed down the Clown engine to 4 instead of 5 by cutting a copy of Trick Clown, putting it down to 1, with of course our extender in Performage Hat Tricker. Onto our spell cards, we are running 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion once again, 3 copies of Naelshaddoll Fusion, and 3 copies of Super Polymerization. That should be self-explanatory. The more fusion cards we have to use, the better we are at getting out our extra deck monsters. We are running 1 and 2 copies of Deck Lockdown. These with Zephyros the Elite are on the chopping block and will probably be cut very soon. Naelshaddoll Fusion, Foolish Burial will of course get us going in terms of our graveyard shenanigans with Squamata sending Reeshaddoll or whatever we need to at the time. Our trap cards, we are running double Reeshaddoll Incarnation and double copies of Necro Fusion. The Shaddoll Core is still in the deck. Hopefully we'll be able to utilize it a bit more this week. We are running a single copy of Dino Miscus. Compulse Evacuation Device is a great card to have in the deck, and here we have our single copy of Infinite Impermanence to add a little bit more utility and hopefully be able to negate some of those first turn plays by our opponent to slow them down a little bit. Solemn Strike is the final card. We are still sitting at 40. We haven't looked at going over just yet, and they are the 40. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think any of the ratios need to be changed up? I want your opinion, so let me know in the comments down below. Our extra deck, I haven't organized it. I hope it's still fairly ordered, so let's have a look. We are running a single copy of Shekanaga, single copy of Grista. As you can see, we are not running a Noyatalis anymore. We are running our double App Cologne, our double Winder, and of course our triple deck mummy Naelshaddoll Construct. Something significantly poor would need to happen for us to cut that down to any more than 3. One more addition to the deck is Dingirsu, Orchestra of the Evening Star. I realize that it is quite easy to get a copy of Construct and Chaos Dragon Legionnaire out on the field at the same time, so why not give this guy a go? The non-targeting spot removal and of course the destruction protection will be a great addition to the deck as well. We have the single copy of Daigusto Emerald still, as well as a Union Carrier, Bujinki Ahashima, Shaddoll Construct in baby form, and of course our Salamangreat Almirage to round out our 15th card in the extra deck. Our side deck hasn't changed too much. I believe there is only a 1 card difference. We did in fact remove the 3rd copy of Reeshaddoll Incarnation from the deck and put in a copy of Hollow Giants. So we have our single copy of Seravis, double Phantasme, our 4 Kaijus with the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, as well as our triple Twin Twisters, the copy of Hollow Giants that I mentioned earlier, and rounding off our 3 copies of Lost Wind. We are looking at Lost Wind putting in some work this week to try and stop those extra deck monsters, and the special summon monsters from getting their effects off. That is this week's deck profile. I tried to keep it short for you because it's not too different from the one last week. Let me know in the comments, like I said, what would you change in the deck? I need your help, and your feedback is very much appreciated. Stick around for the duels, and of course, on the other side of the duels will be the recap for the week. I'll see you over there.
Many hours later.
Alright, it is time to duel, and this week round 1 was up against Salomon Great. You can see the Salomon Great player had a pretty decent first turn finish on an Abyss Dweller, Salomon Great, Sunlight Wolf, and one set card, which is a Salomon Great Rage. I started off with the Armageddon Knight, sending the cards to the graveyard. Sorry about the glare on the graveyard. On the other side, I will fix up the angles of that. But I made my Naelshaddoll construct. He destroyed that with the Rage in the end phase, and of course there wasn't too much that I could do to go into his turn. I activated the Necro Shade, and using my Reeshaddoll Incarnation, I also brought back my Naelshaddoll construct. I must have forgot to use the effect there of construct. I'm not sure what happened on that special summon, but I really should have dumped something in the graveyard, probably to kill the will of the Salomon Great. He would have been able to Baylings that, but it would have got the Baylings out of the graveyard. So he has normal summon Nibiru, which is quite an interesting turn here. He has just swung in and done some damage, which was, yeah, pretty impressive on his part. The Sunlight Wolf is still face up on the field. He goes into a number 41, that stupid, terribly tired Trapaeze. It is the dumbest card in the world when you are playing a fusion-based deck that needs to get those effects on board. And when they have such little defense, it is really, really hard to try and get over that. So we keep playing here. I go into a Shaddoll Fusion and I go into an App Cologne. Not sure why I actually did that. It didn't really make much sense at all. I did go into the Union Carrier first off, but it won't get its effect anyway because yeah, that Baguska is on the field. So Winder goes to defense position. Not much I can do here. I set one card in the monster zone, shuffle up. He checks my graveyard, and I use Incarnation's effect to flip summon one of the cards. Goes into the standby phase and detaches for the number 41. And now's where things get a little bit dicey for me. He is looking like he is in a good position here. He normal summons the Gazelle, sends the Spinny to the graveyard, and proceeds to make some pretty decent plays. He did turn the terribly tired Trapaeze into attack position, so now all these monsters will get their effects. They will be able to swing in, and he has just done a shitload of damage to me in the battle phase. He banishes the Spinny, goes into the update Jammer, and he is about to mount something pretty impressive. As you can tell by the video, guys, I have sped this up quite significantly, so I don't have to talk too much through the duels. You should be able to get a good idea of what's going on. So I set a monster face down to my side of the field. There's not really much else I can do at this stage. Losing that first game, I decided to scoop it up, and we need to get into game 2. First turn winders are always a pretty good option against Salomon Great. They do rely heavily on their special summons, so I have one set card, one set monster, and of course my Winder. Unfortunately, he opened up with the infinite Impermanence and was able to negate the Winder straight off. I'm in a lot of trouble here. He goes into an access code talker, which you can see I sped those plays up a little bit. He did make the summon correctly. I just didn't want to wait around and leave all of that in there. He swung twice over the Winder and then again and absolutely obliterated me. Round 2 was a little bit better. We played up against heroes. Shout out to this hero player. He wasn't the greatest player and was playing a skeleton hero deck. Using a lot of the non-optimal cards in the hero deck, he did actually brick quite hard in the first couple of games that we played. I was able to come away with the win on this one, but we will actually watch this one play out. Once again, sped up, we were able to flip summon that Wendi. After he attacked into it with the Solid Soldier. I got the special summon off, used Beast, and used the Reeshaddoll Incarnation from the grave to flip summon Beast, get a couple of draws, send a Dragon, kill some back row, and of course after that we were able to go into our Union Carrier plays. With the Squamata in attack position with our attached Wizard Buster turning off graveyard effects, we did have enough there to pretty much complete lethal damage. He did, however, use the Swords of Revealing Light, but I was able to Dynamiscus that away pretty easily. I haven't seen Elemental Hero Voltic in a long time. He mask changed into Masked Hero Koga, another pretty good Masked Hero, definitely overshadowed by the more popular Acid and Dark Lore though. So I go into Shaddoll Fusion. I send 2 materials from my graveyard, obviously a Trick Clown, I would say a Squamata, and of course I will send for Construct's effect as well. Wendy goes to the graveyard. I do a normal summon with Ariel, and I go into another Construct. I'm not too sure what his back rows are, but the fact that he hasn't tried to activate anything yet is kind of leaving me to believe that it is just a bluff. I activate Necrofusion from my side of the field, and I go into a Winder. That is a pretty easy game too, and we are 1-1 for the weekend. Going into game 3 was against my good mate Maxwell. Eldritch Shaddoll was a pretty good matchup. He definitely knows how to play this deck quite well. It is, on paper, it looks like a pile of hot garbage, but when you see what this deck can do, it is pretty powerful. So he goes into some Shaddoll's plays first, goes into a Shaddoll Fusion for the Construct, sending the materials from his graveyard because I have my Construct face up on the field. He links the Construct off to and the Golden Lord off for a cross sheet using the Reeshaddoll Incarnation and the face down Ariel to bring back his Construct to the link zone that cross sheet the cross sheet was pointing to get the extra summon. Goes into a Unicorn, spins back my card, does some damage with Crusadia Avramax, and passes turn. I am in big trouble here because I know for a fact there isn't a lot I can do in my main deck to actually out the Avramax. Short of drawing into a Super Polymerization, that is basically all I can do. Going through my graveyard, trying to find some kind of answer, going through my hand, looking for some kind of hope, but it just isn't meant to be. So I get a couple of summons off, I go into an Ariel, and I go into a Squamata, normal summoning or special summoning both of those, looking for some kind of hope. I go into an Naelshaddoll Fusion to the App Cologne. I can negate the Winder, but that is about it. I still need to find a way to get over that Avramax. It is ridiculously hard. That card is absolutely stupid. If I am looking for some big boss monster to put into this sealed only deck, maybe Avramax is the one I need to be thinking about. I am looking at obviously putting in a few more bigger link monsters from the extra deck that are going to help climbing up to something like a link 4 a lot easier. I did manage to go into the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, shuffling one of Maxwell's cards back to his hand, but by then it's all too late. He's got an Avramax on the field, he's got the Hexatrude on the field, he's got the Golden Lord on the field, and he decides to start swinging for some serious damage. He's got the Construct on the field as well, getting rid of a couple of cards there. He's doing significant amounts of damage. In one last bid to try and mount some sort of a comeback, I activate the Naelshaddoll Fusion going into a copy of Construct. I bring back my Performage Trick Clown for a little bit of defense, and of course I have the protection from Naelshaddoll Construct as well. I need something here, so I go into a Digusto Emerald that's going to get me a draw. I did have a way out of this when I was playing, but it ended up that I needed to draw the card, but I didn't get lucky enough to grab that draw. So we're going to see Maxwell banish for the cost of Golden Castle of Stromberg, which is face up on the field. He goes into his Gleef, goes into a Golden Lord from the graveyard, and then just swings for lethal. Again, my first turn, I got Winder out once again, but I'm finding out very quickly that first turn Winder isn't actually as good as I would like it to be. I also necrofusioned into an Apcalone also, knowing that I could negate the effect of the Golden Castle of Stromberg. He won't have to banish those cards, but he will, of course. I will be able to, of course, swing into those monsters. The effect of that card is negated, not just for the turn, but that negation is ongoing. So Maxwell is going through his graveyard. He special summons the Golden Lord from the graveyard, which I believe was met with a Solemn Strike. So now that that Golden Castle is off the field, he was able to go into the Naelshaddoll Construct. He was able to kill my Winder, doing that little bit of damage because Winder can't be destroyed by Construct's non-destruction effect. He's got 2 Constructs on the field now, going into the Apcalone, which had been negated earlier, which means it can actually be destroyed by battle. He banishes a couple of cards with Ariel's effect from my graveyard, and unfortunately, I am not sitting in a really good position. I'm able to go into the Shaddoll Fusion, sending the materials from my deck to bring out my own copy of Construct. If there isn't anything I can do here, I actually, I'm in a little bit of trouble, but I do manage to find a line of play that does get me a Trick Clown. I use the Trick Clown and the Hedgehog that's on the field to go into a Union Carrier. I haven't used Union Carrier's effect yet. I'm able to banish 3 monsters to special summon a Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. I then go into the Union Carrier effect to bring out the Wizard Buster to then attach it. After that, Maxwell knows it's game and he scoops and says, let's go to game 3. You can see Maxwell's first turn on the field. He has a Winder and a Verte Anaconda face up. He then goes into a Nightmare Unicorn because all I could do is set a couple of cards, set a monster, and pass it back to him. The Unicorn there spun back one of my cards. I was then able to destroy some of his back row with my Twin Twister. It was a quick third game. He obliterated me and I have to scoop it up there. Going into round 4, which was the final round, we came up against the mate of mine, Cameron. He's another Shaddoll player, but this time playing the Invoked Engine. If it was easier to find the invoked cards for the sealed only strategy, I think this is the route that I probably would have taken, but for now, the pure will have to do. Again, running the clowns, he's sending a few cards to the graveyard, he sets a monster face down, he then passes the turn back to me. I normal summon and swing for 3600 with my 2 face-up Squamatas. He was lucky enough to grab the Magical Meltdown off the top of the deck, which searched him out an Alistair. With the Alistair, I was then able to use the Impermanence that we pulled to negate its effect. However, he did have the Shaddoll Fusion in hand and was able to go into, I believe, a Wendi. I can't quite see on that side of the table. I'm pretty sure it was a Wendi though. I've got 2 face down monsters and 1 card face up, which is my Squamata. I set a monster, flip summon another Squamata, which is the 3rd one. I go into an Naelshaddoll Construct with the 2 flip monsters. I then flip up Shaddoll Hedgehog that allows me to search for the Shaddoll Fusion. But I can't use it just yet because I've already had my special summon. I made a bit of a misplay in summoning the Construct. I should have gone straight into the Hedgehog and the Shaddoll Fusion, then I would have been able to bring out a Construct. I Super Poly using both of his monsters to bring out my own Naelshaddoll Construct, which means the Macabre was basically turned off for that entire turn. Macabre is such a devastating card, but I was able to get around that. He Ash Blossomed the effect of the Construct, but I was still able to do a little bit of resource gathering before my turn ended. So Cameron has a face-up Macabre, a face-up Purgatrio, and a face-down monster. He's going into and swinging with Purgatrio, then chaining the Almirage's effect to, of course, negate the damage or negate the destruction that Construct would have done. That was enough for him to get game. Game 2 started off, I wanted to go second this time. I was hoping to draw into Super Poly that would allow me to actually pull something significant off here. I was able to make a winder during Cameron's turn to try and slow him down a little bit. He does have the face-up construct on the field. I use my Reeshaddoll Incarnation to special back a face-down Naelshaddoll Ariel. He sets one, swings into my face-down. I bring back one of my monsters, and he goes in for an attack. I Shaddoll Fusion using materials from my deck. Shaddoll Fusion is such a good card. If you don't see it early on, there's a good chance that you're going to lose. That's why I've been hunting down that Verte Anaconda for so long, because if we can use Verte Anaconda's effect to turn that card into a Shaddoll Fusion, use materials from our deck to make any sort of play first up, we are in a really, really good position from there. So he clears the construct off my field. I still have a face-up winder, a face-up Naelshaddoll Ariel, and a face-down monster. I'm able to once again Impermanence the Alistair. He links that off into an Almirage. Summons a construct. Use a Reeshaddoll Incarnation. And there's not much he can do here. I use Chaos Dragon Legionnaires effect to shuffle a card back to his hand. I'm able to swing in and do a fair bit of damage. He did, however, chain the Water Ghost Girl, and he gained a few life points off of one of my Naelshaddoll Construct summons. He's got a Trick Clown on board that he used, but we were able to swing in, do enough damage, and get the win. First turn, Cameron started in the third game. He started off with a Purgatrio and 3 face-down spells and traps. All I could do was T-set and pass it back. He had an Invocation and he was about to come off with some massive plays. He's got a Purgatrio, a Macabre. I get a special summon off of the Wendi that he attacked to get face up on the field. He attacks into the Shaddoll Hedgehog. I grab a Shaddoll Fusion from my deck. He didn't negate it with the Macabre, strangely enough. I normal summon the Armageddonite, pitch a Squamata, pitch a Dragon to kill one of his back row. I Shaddoll Fusion into an Naelshaddoll Construct using materials, but he then super polys me and goes into a Naelshaddoll window of his own, limiting my special summons for the turn. There's not much else I can do because I did special summon the Perform Mage Trick Clown, so I set 3 back row and I pass it back to him. During his turn, when he goes to attack with Purgatrio, I use Compulsory Evac Device to send it back to hand. I cut his life points, I cut the attack points of Macabre in half with Lost Wind, but it wasn't enough. I still managed.
It's getting harder and harder to do these recaps at the end of every episode when we've had such a shit performance. Going 1-3 from another week after 11 weeks of Sealed Only Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really, really disheartening for the deck. But I'm not going to give up. We're going to move forward next week and we are going to do the best we can to pull some more cards and make some more incredible changes to the deck to make it playable. Before I get into the recap fully though, I want to say that 70% of you out there are watching these videos but aren't subscribing to the channel. So subscribe. So round 1 was against Salamangreat. We've always had trouble against the Salamangreat deck, and even though we did do a little bit better this week in terms of the control situation, the access code talker play that Caleb was able to pull off in that second game really showed us that our deck is very, very far from optimal. We need to be able to do more to protect our window and to mount a little bit more trouble and a little bit more of defense when we do get those early turn plays on board. Yes, that Anaconda is going to help, but it's not the only thing that we're going to need. Maybe some more Impermanences in the future is going to be of benefit to us as well. Round 2 was against Heroes. We stole a win there because the hero player wasn't that good at all. We did manage to get a few good plays off, but when you're matching yourself against people like that, it isn't really the best way to determine how good your deck is running. Yes, it was a free win, our only win of the week, So let's move on to the game against the Eldritch Shaddoll player. Maxwell played this deck quite well, and while we did take a game away from him, I do think he had the upper hand most of the way through. He had a lot of opportunity to do some significant damage to us, which he did, and on the occasion that we were able to mount some kind of a comeback, we were also stopped in our tracks a lot of the time. He was able to sit on Abramax for a few turns until he was ready to do lethal damage to us, and that is really what hampered us a lot. Again, the Verte Anaconda, being able to use super polymerization with the effect of the Anaconda, will go a long way into helping us in the future, which leads me to believe that that Anaconda is such a vital card for our deck. The final round was against Cameron and his Invoke Shaddoll lineup. We always go toe to toe, and it's usually quite close between us, and this week it was no different. He was able to come away with the win, but I do think that the pure Shaddoll matchup is a really good matchup against the Invoked Shaddoll. Some inconsistency in his hand really made it difficult for him to get started in that third game. We were able to generate some advantage, but while we were able to get a little bit ahead, he was able to put on one massive turn and go into his Invocation and his Shaddoll Fusion plays to put some big monsters on board and attack straight through us. We will be pulling for that Anaconda next week. I was okay with how the deck ran this week, but there are still a lot of changes that we need to make it better. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. This is week 11. We have many more weeks ahead of us. If you haven't already, click the card in the top corner to check out the episodes before this one. Stay tuned for the next episode because it's only a week away. Thanks for tuning in. I'm James. This is Duels Down Under. You are watching Sealed Only Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shaddoll Showdown. See you in the next clip.